Hello and welcome back to The Novelist. Today we begin with The Funeral. That night, Linda got a phone call. Interesting. So last time we compromised with Tommy and Linda, Tommy getting the full compromise and Linda getting the other half. Dan didn't get anything because fishing with his buddy is outweighed by family time and Davy's time with friends. Blanket Fort, what a success. We did that last time. I let Tommy have his little blanket fort, and that was awesome. So let's read this magazine. Mark the 21st of this month on your calendars. For one day only, watch the world-famous Fighter 5 as they scream across the sky. Witness death-defying feats of flying in a display unlike anything you've ever seen. Guaranteed to blow you away. Don't miss it. Interesting. It's probably... I think it probably said it in the bottom corner, but I wasn't making attention. It's probably a Tommy thing.
Anne, I just got off the phone with Mom. She told me about Grandma Joe. I know we expected it sooner rather than later, but this is hitting me so much harder than when Granddad died last year. Do you remember going to Grandma Joe's house after school on Wednesdays and playing until Mom got off work? How Grandma Joe always had a surprise for us? Even if it was just cookies in the oven, she'd always time it so the whole house would smell like them when we got there. I hope the minister captures those little moments because they don't seem as little now. I wish the circumstances were different, but it will still be good to see you at the funeral. What am I saying? You probably won't even get this until after the funeral. I guess I just needed to write anyway. Love, Linda.
Interesting. That's actually some incredible voice acting, by the way. I mean, I could hear the sadness in her voice very clearly. So let's explore your memory and see what's going on. Got a bit of journaling going on.
I'm sure Mom and Dad would have liked to have been the only visitors in the house, but they understood the bad timing and were glad to see us at all. With so much going on, I didn't get a chance to talk to her about things with Dad. I need to try and call or write when they get back home. I hope they're okay.
I mean, in all honesty, it was a very unplanned visit, very last-minute impromptu. You can't really blame them. Nope, it's upstairs. It's gonna be... Shoot, where is it? Is it in the bedroom again? Yep, it's in there. Okay. That must be when she got the news about the funeral. Let's not do that again. Okay. No distractions here, just, of course. That's what you always think. Hang on, I saw something. Dan, big news. Got a call from Bracket Books in Eugene, and they want you to do a reading from Windsong. Must be a previous book. Maybe even some Q&A, some book signings, all that good stuff. I think you should do it. In fact, I'm going to be pretty pissed if you don't. Bracket is a big outlet, so if this goes well, orders for the new book will definitely go up. Is Eugene close? Can he, get to this, or is this like a trip? I don't need to remind you how long it's been since Tramer's Way came out. If you don't keep your name out there, no one will even notice when you finish the new book, whatever it's called. Hell, speaking of the new one, why don't you read some of it too? Maybe the second chapter you sent me last month. That one was pretty good. Bracket Books, Eugene, the 21st. See you there. Paul. P.S. You know the long game, right? Nailing this one could mean a bigger advance on the next book. That's why he can't just kind of work casually. I mean, he could work casually on his next book after he finishes this one. But he can't just jump straight into being casual. Let's see what his memories tell us. See, I never know which one to do. We're going to do Dan first. He seems to be the comforting one.
Lynn, I'm so sorry. Tell me what I can do.
Just be here for me.
That's It's pretty accurate. Don't get in the lamp.
And as for last weekend, I can't stop wondering what kind of advice Tynan would have had for Act 2. It's still a mess. I tried to work on it, but it was impossible to get anything done with so much going on. Although I guess I did flex a little creativity. I came up with an impressive number of errands to run just to get out of the house.
Yeah, and see, I might have gone for your compromise if you weren't so focused on fishing poles. If you were focused on the writing session, sure. But whatever. Your fault. Okay. Well, that's 2 people. Call Paul first thing tomorrow morning. Any possible way to move it? Is this thing announced yet? Okay, so this must be about the book thing. Now I can actually read Dan's thoughts, okay. Do some serious work on that chapter first. Yeah, I might actually, yeah, I'm definitely going to go for Dan on this one. Because he does need to get some work done on his book. It's kind of important. So, before we do that, though, let's explore Tommy's memories. Nothing in here. Okay. To his room. Well, you see what the blanket fort did, folks. Repairing relationships everywhere. Build blanket forts with your kids. It's worth it.
Is she in heaven?
Aww.
I'm sure she is, honey.
Aww. Hard to deal with. He's got a cool rocket ship, though. He's young, though. He'll bounce back.
I walked out to the bluff to remember Grandma Joe and say goodbye. And on the way back, I started thinking about what it really means to have a family, to make that your focus. She seemed to take such joy in being surrounded by her family, providing for them, taking care of them. I hope I never took that for granted. When I got back to the house, a question hit me that I can't get out of my head. What will Tommy think about Dan and me when he gets older? And what if Tommy has kids of his own? I can't even begin to think of myself as a grandmother. I haven't even been a mother for that long, and I'm still feeling my way through what it means to be a good one. At least I'll always have an example. I miss you, Grandma Joe, and I'll never forget you. I promise.
I don't like this chapter very much. Like, this chapter's not okay with me. It's to call and buy a ticket to his funeral. Just... ugh.
I could always...
so much terrible pain. Rocketman. Okay, looks like Tommy and a guy in a space outfit. That's not his dad, though. His dad has blacker, like, his dad's got a black mustache. Is that the other thing that Dan was talking about? Hang on a second. Let me see what Tommy thinks. Okay, I think I've done Here's Indents. Magazine says there are going to be tons of planes. Oh, right. It's a pilot. I still don't know what Dan's deal is. Let's check out the bedroom and see if there are any more clues in there. Looks like...
Most of you here knew my grandmother. For those who didn't, I truly wish you had. She was an example for all of us. Her warmth, her caring, and her smile were impossible to forget. It's still hard for me to believe she's gone. Without her, the world is...
I guess she's writing her eulogy for the funeral. And I do not like funerals. And we still don't know what Dan wants. Looks like his clues must be in here. Oh.
Oh no. Joe's funeral's the same day as the signing in Eugene. And Paul says they can't move it. He'll understand if I bail because he knows Linda, but Grovefield is a different story. They won't give a damn why I missed it. They'll just get a memo and put it in a spreadsheet somewhere and write me off just a little bit more. And it's not just the timing. If I do the reading, I've got to get that chapter in shape. It's not even remotely ready for anyone to see it. Can't worry about what Paul says. He's my agent. He's supposed to stroke me. And what about Tommy?
As time goes on, I hate this game more and more. it's like being in real life, making these decisions. It's not okay. But in keeping with our standard way of balancing everything out, I decided that I was going to choose Dan for this one, so Dan it is. And I guess I'll balance out with Linda. This is just a little bit ridiculous. Alright, what was it that Linda... Oh, yes, that is what Tommy wants. Linda wanted... There was like a note... Ah, the phone, yes. Linda wanted the phone. But before we do that... Diary of K. Williams. K. somebody. We don't know K. who. This is 1952. I cannot say that I feel better than I did upon arriving, for J is still gone. Interesting. Are we striking? Why is it stricken? But I do feel a change. Some glimmer of a path is taking form in my mind. I cannot describe it other than a narrowing of thought. Perhaps time alone is to be thanked, or perhaps it is something else, something unknown. Today I drove to McClendon's to buy coffee, wine, and vegetables, although I was not due to run short of those for a few days more. I confess I went to hear human voices, to be around the living. I conversed with a pleasant couple, and it did me no small measure of good. My first words came out as a croak, and I realized I had not spoken in days. A small reminder of my solitary days here alone with my thoughts, thinking of Jay, staring at the sea just over the cliff, though I must confess that my gaze drifts away from the sea to the edge of the cliff. Oh, that's... that's not good. Don't do it. Same diary, May 8th, 1952. Jay is gone and I'm alone. See, another one of the things why I read these things backwards. Like, I just have a knack for doing them out of order. That is the sum of it. No other thought enters my mind. Wed 38 years, now alone. Ooh. Since this accident has taken Jay from me, what shall I do with myself? I do not know. Money is no worry. Time, that is the thing. There is so much of it still ahead of me. I have been blessed with health, but that blessing is now a curse. It is nothing more than the curse of time alone without Jay. I attempt to look ahead, but cannot envision a path without Jay. For so long, I have no need to imagine one. The children do not understand why I have come to this house alone, as they cannot understand my loss. I'm starting to wonder if I'm a force of good or a force of evil. Or maybe that's just to say that I have my good days and I have my bad days. Some families get out scot-free and some families take a pretty hard hit. I mean, while I may be playing at God, I may not be very good at it sometimes. We'll see how I do with this chapter. Dan knew his books had drifted almost completely out of the public eye, and he couldn't turn down the chance to get his work back in the literary spotlight. He drove to Eugene on the 21st and was surprised to see a line out the door of bracket books Paul had delivered. Dan wasn't completely happy with the chapter he read, but the crowd certainly seemed to like it. He left Eugene with a confidence boost that carried him for days. So it was a bit of a trip, which means he couldn't go out with Tommy. Linda went to the funeral by herself, and it was even harder than she had expected it to be. It helped that almost everyone in her family came to say goodbye to Grandma Jo, but when Linda cried herself to sleep that night in an empty hotel bed, she felt more alone than she ever had in her life. What about Tommy? Where's Tommy? When Dan told Tommy they wouldn't be able to go to the show, Tommy had a crying fit and tried to tear up the magazine. Word his parents, he hadn't thrown a fit like that for almost a year. It was exactly the kind of thing they hoped to avoid by spending the summer in such a quiet, peaceful place. Well, he got the couch for it last time, so he needs to man up. As July came to an end, the Kaplans' lives had developed a pattern. Oh no. Am I that predictable? Dan's fingers could barely keep up as he typed the last chapter of his first draft. He'd always thought the phrase, "the words are coming through me," was a cliche for hacks, but he didn't think that now. The book wasn't done yet. It still needed work and polish, but he knew if he focused, he could make it something that truly mattered. Dan's tying up his book pretty good. Dan and Linda had made reservations for a weekend at a bed and breakfast, but they both privately wanted to cancel it. As it had begun their pattern, neither one of them spoke up, so they went anyway. As miserable as they both feared, without anyone around to distract them, they couldn't hide from the apathy that had consumed their marriage. Damn it, they're falling apart. I gotta do some stuff with Linda, I guess. And on the following Tuesday, Tommy put on an art show in the den explaining his drawings to his parents one by one. Dan got Linda to pretend they were at an art auction, bidding against one another for each drawing. Dan would not be denied outbidding Linda every time while complimenting the family's youngest artist on his process of works of art. They still had a month left, but Dan's chances to change the course of the summer were growing fewer. Yikes. Things are not going well. I'm afraid if I keep up, Dan and Linda might end up splitting, and that would be even worse. Well, that is it for this chapter. I believe how this game works is there's 3 summer months, and each one is a chapter, and so we have different scenes from each chapter. And so this is the conclusion of Chapter 2, video number 6. If you've enjoyed watching, please consider leaving a thumbs up or subscribing. If you didn't enjoy watching, go watch something that you enjoy. And thank you for watching, and we hope to see you here next time.